Now, do you have any questions you would like to ask me?
How did you decide what to write for your first ensemble piece?
That's an interesting question. And we did, you're right, we had to decide what kind of piece to start with in each book. And with the ensemble, we had to make a special decision because there would be 2 people playing, and we had to take that into account. There's a long history in music. We know of the music that they sang and danced way back in the 15 and 1600s. How many thousands of years ago was that?
A lot.
A lot. And so we have a very good idea of what they did. They didn't have any books then. They didn't have any written material. They didn't have any radios or television or anything like that, but they did have feet and hands and voices, and they did play instruments, and they did a lot of dancing. That was the main thing they did to entertain themselves back then. Their music was not as long and complicated as it has gotten to be later, but it was a lot of fun. And they put short phrases together because they wanted people to be able to remember it, because it wasn't written down. You have to remember everything you see. So, yum dum dum da dee da 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 dum dum. That's a phrase. It's short and it's easy to remember. This next phrase is quite like it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then they repeat it. But they made it soft to make it different and fun and mischievous, you see. So we decided it should be a Gothic piece. Now, Gothic means way, way back in history. And we decided it could be a little longer than, they usually had 8 measures at the most to begin with. And then they got up to 16 measures, which was very daring. And our piece is longer than that, but not much, you see? So we started with that perky dance because we thought it would be a good way to start the ensemble series. Did you think it was a good way to start? Oh, good. So we made a good decision?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice to know. It's often we wish we could talk to students and teachers and find out what they like and what they think was a good idea, or maybe what they didn't think was such a good idea. What, do you have a question for me?
Yes, I was wondering what went into making your course and how long it took.
That's another very good question. The first thing, we had to do something good enough that somebody would ask us to write a And at one point we had, about 89 books in print. And they were very, very popular with the students and the teachers. So we got invitations to write a piano course based on that. And then I decided, because I'd been teaching teachers for a long time, and I knew what their problems were, that I ought to do some research. So I spent 2 years going to the Library of Congress, which is a beautiful, one of the most beautiful buildings in Washington, D.C., and they have every book that was ever published. And I would call them up and I'd say, I want a book on ya, ya, ya. And when I get there, they'd have that ya, ya, ya book for me, and I would study it and study it. You couldn't take them home, but you could have a wonderful time with it. And I looked for what worked in music teaching and why, and what didn't work and why. So I came out of that pretty sure what we needed to do, and I laid out the program for the books, and then we started writing it. So it was 2 years in the research. We worked for 10 years, each of us, my husband and I, spent 10 years, so that's 20 years plus 2 years of research. And then the next 7 years I spent bringing the books through the publication process. So that's 29 years of our lives were devoted to planning, writing, and publishing the course. You're not even 29 years old yet, you see. I am. But it was a wonderful process because we learned so much, and we were so excited about what we could do with what we were learning. And we test taught it with our students, and they loved the pieces. And they didn't even have names then. I'd hear students in the waiting room, I love 24. What's your favorite? Oh, mine is 29, you know. We're sorry they didn't have names at that point, but it didn't seem to bother the students any. So that was a very good question. Is that a complete answer, do you think? Do you have any more question left over?
No.
No? Okay. Any other questions?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, thank you. You know I love questions. And I ask my students a lot of questions. Were you surprised when you started to study with me at how many questions I asked you?
I think so.
Most students are really, what's going on here? Because they don't have many adults asking them questions. Why do you think I do that?
At the beginning, maybe you want to see what we know.
Absolutely. Good observation. And when you go to answer a question, what do you have to do?
Think.
That's right, you see. But what were you going to say, dear?
I was a little bit surprised at how many questions you asked because my mom used to teach us and she wasn't really a real piano teacher. And so she just let me play the piece and I would and she would just tell me what went well and what I did wrong.
There. Now, that's not unusual way for people to teach. And I think if you ask a lot of students what they think their lessons are for, they will say, my teacher will correct my mistakes and tell me how to make it sound better.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think that's a very positive way to work together. I want to give you information that will help you know how to avoid mistakes.
So we can know how to stop them. And
Right. You see? So I ask questions to help you think, and then we work on different ways of listening to music and reading music, recognizing what the music wants to do. It wants to dance, or it wants to sing, or it wants to be sad. And when you know that, you can come up with these ideas yourself, you see. But we have to learn how to recognize the signals. And that's why I have to ask a lot of questions. Do you forgive me for asking you questions?
yes.
Oh, thank you. Now, I want to tell you why I am so happy about what you accomplished on the Students on Stage recital. I thought your performance was absolutely wonderful. You got that piece dancing from the first note on, and it danced through the entire piece. There's a lot of repeats in that piece, and a lot of changes of dynamics. The dancing kept going from beginning to end. That's not easy. And the fact that you did this together by memory is extraordinary. Even some professional people who are playing piano four hands use the music. Because it's especially demanding that the other person's not playing what you are. But you did it, and you did it so wonderfully, clear and perfectly. That was just wonderful. Furthermore, you were a perfect ensemble team. You sat down together. You looked at each other before you started the way you're supposed to. And one of you was the conductor and started the performance right together. And you stayed together through the whole piece. And at the end, you picked your hands up at the same time and put them in your lap in exactly the same way. You got up together, you went to greet the camera and looked at it together, and then you took your bow. All of this was perfectly synchronized. Perfectly synchronized. You were a wonderful team. And you're only 10 and 11 years old? Did I get the ages right?
Yes.
Okay. Good for me. But you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You were professional in that performance. And have you patted yourselves on the back recently for doing that?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Now keep that good feeling within you. When you start something that seems difficult, remember how difficult it was for us to start Gothic Dance and what you did with it. You see? Mm-hmm. So you know that our lessons and classes help us, and you also know that working hard like you did will always help. When you work the right way, of course. So congratulations on what you did, Talmage. It was just wonderful, darling. And you too, Julia. I will always remember how well you played on that program, and I'm glad we have it on film, aren't you? Thank you. Thank you for coming today. It was fun to be with you.
I'm glad we did it.
Oh, good. I'm pleased.
Yes, me too.
All right. Thank you again, both of you.